Hey everyone, and welcome to our weekly Q&A presented by Just Love. I'm your host Paula Jane, and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author. Her books include The Zeta Message, Human by Day, Zeta by Night, and her most recent book, E.T. Presence on Earth. Welcome, Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
Well, in our last episode, episode 7, you said that what is being done on Earth right now could be looked upon as a Noah's Ark project, just in case things go badly down here. You did point out that you weren't saying that it would, but we still don't want to take chances. And also back in episode 6, you also spoke about how there are PLFs, the program life forms, which are not genuine ETs, but rather program robots that have been bioengineered right here on Earth, purposely designed to resemble the genuine Greys, the Zetas and the blue-grey Arcturians, etc., who are here assisting us on Earth at this time. These PLFs are used in faked ET abductions that are being carried out by the military. So talk about causing maximum fear and confusion. First of all, I think we should talk a little bit more on why the military are doing this, and then why you've said just in case things go badly down here. But before you start, I'd just like to preempt this by saying that it is all playing out by divine design. Would you agree?
Yes, Paula, for sure. Before going any further with this, I do want to point out that everything is playing out in perfect divine design. No matter how we as humans down here on Earth see it, we are limited so much by our 10% conscious awareness. So it's hard for us to see the bigger picture and to realise that everything is proceeding as it's meant to.
Well, that's important information and just highlights how important it is to have confidence and trust in the bigger picture, that there actually is a divine plan. And we only have 10% conscious awareness, so it will always pretty much seem like a puzzle. Still, it's not easy to believe that there is a bigger picture when faced with our current problems here on Earth and all the talk about fake ET abductions. It doesn't sound too good.
Well, as Horus, one of the Grey Elders, always says, in the greater reality there are no accidents. But, and this is a big but, that doesn't mean that we're meant to just sit back and let life roll over the top of us and toss us around like a jellyfish in the tide. We need to take responsibility, both personally and as a planetary collective. What needs to be remembered, clearly understood and acknowledged is that we all have the divine spark within us. God is not an old man sitting up on a cloud in heaven. God's essence is within us. As quantum physics is now proving, we create our own reality by the way we think. And it's at this personal, individual level where we make the free will choice of thinking and creating, either in a positive or in a negative way.
Oh, I really like that. I like that you explain free will by depicting it as a choice of thinking and creating either in a positive or negative way. That's empowering, and it gives you permission to stand up for your life and what's important to you instead of being a jellyfish. I think we get caught up in being a victim, and fair enough, but when we know that Earth is a school planet and that some higher parts of you pre-designed all of your challenges and all the wrongdoings you get faced with as an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve spiritually, then it's easier to digest and take the necessary action.
Yes, exactly. And the other point is everyone around us is creating their own reality, which then becomes a group reality. This group reality, depending upon the majority of mindsets at play, may not be positive and constructive. This is how gang mentality operates. We can't always control what's going on around us, but we can control how we react. This is where the key lies in our own life. It's not so much what goes on around us, but rather our personal reaction to what's going on. And it's within our best interests to create positively rather than negatively. You don't have to go along with the crowd. You're a human, not a sheep. So reacting positively is the key.
Okay, so it's not our fault, but it is our responsibility.
Absolutely, for sure. We need to take personal responsibility for our own spiritual journey and not get swept up and overwhelmed by any negativity going on around us. Just to insert a quote here from author Brenda Davies' book, Journey of the Soul. When the majority of people in any community or country embrace negativity, anger and violence, They manifest this collectively and produce mass conflict or war. Each of us has a responsibility to change our inner reality to one of peace, and in so doing to help the whole universe move towards peace and paradise or hell. This inner reality is the free will choice between love and fear that I talk about.
So it's sort of like the butterfly effect, where one small act can cause large effects.
Yes, and like a small pebble thrown into a pond that causes ever-widening ripples in all directions, right across the whole pond.
So that's all very well, but what about these cleverly faked alien abductions carried out by our very own military who are supposed to be protecting us?
Okay, in episode 6 I refer to the programmed life forms, the PLFs, that Dr. Stephen Greer talks about, that are being used in very cleverly faked alien abductions carried out by the military. These are known as MILABs, which stands for Military Abductions, and they're part of a Black Ops program to create an army of super soldiers. This Earth-based program is being purposely made to seem as if it's being carried out by ETs, but it's actually the brainchild of the Western military-industrial complex, which back-engineered and copied technology from crashed ET ships. There are some major mind control programs in place as part of this deception.
Wow, so here we're talking about what people are referring to as the Illuminati and the Cabal, and what you refer to as the Reptarian controllers.
Yes, and this is where the PLFs come into the picture. They're specifically designed to resemble the real Greys, mainly the Zetas, to cause people to fear genuine off-planet contact. Often the people targeted are having genuine ET contact as well, which causes major confusion and fear for them. As far as I see it, if there's any military presence during an ET contact experience, it's often a MILAB experience. The Reptarian controllers are firmly behind this program.
So Judy, what do you mean when you say if there is any military presence during an ET contact experience? It's probably a MILAB experience. How would the person being contacted know?
In many cases, they actually see Earth-human military people during the encounter. In other cases, if the fake programmed life forms are present, they act in a very forceful robotic way. Bullying tactics are used, and in some cases holographic images of beautiful blonde space brothers are present, all within a superior master role and in charge of the Greys. In a genuine encounter, if human-looking beings and Greys are both present, the Greys are the ones in charge, but there's always total respect and cooperation between the two groups.
Okay, so what part do the Guardians of Earth play in all of this? You say in your book, ET Presence on Earth, that the Guardians set up centres of learning to protect ancient knowledge from controllers' influence. However, many were infiltrated over time. But the Grey Guardians and many other ET and interdimensional beings are here now trying to intervene when invited to do so. Most of us wouldn't know how to invite their help in, but it is here.
Many people on Earth have asked the ET Guardians to intervene. This is why they began returning here in the late 1940s to 1950s. The development of nuclear weaponry brought them, but also the higher consciousness of many Earth people put out a call for aid, even though they may not have been consciously aware of doing this. People were so in need of spiritual intervention, with Earth having gone through 2 major world wars within the span of 20-odd years. Earth humans also make between-life requests for help from the Grey Guardians when they feel ready to take the next step forward in their evolutionary journey. People always give permission on the higher soul level for ET contact to take place. Because Earth humans are only 10% consciously aware, they usually can't remember this pre-birth request and get scared and upset about the seeming interference. No genuine ET, Grey or otherwise, will ever approach a person who hasn't given permission for contact to take place.
Well, that's a lot to assimilate, but so interesting, especially if you've had an experience with ET contact. Judy, you've had these experiences, and although they've ultimately been positive for you, initially you were fearful because it was foreign and because of the paralysis you experienced during the contact. So in a nutshell, what you're saying is be aware of how you feel. Yes, you may have fear, but you'll also have a feeling of belonging, connection, love, and family if it's a genuine ET contact. Is that right?
Yes, try to be aware of how you feel, but at the same time, the sheer foreignness of it can have a purely physiological effect on our body, which cannot easily be controlled. It's like an automatic response in the body. The only way to get past this is through deeper understanding and carrying out some sort of spiritual practice to raise the frequency of your energy system. The way I got past the fear with the paralysis was to just learn to breathe through it. Also be aware that there's a huge amount of fear-mongering put out about the ETs, so doing research on the net can make matters worse. It's important to learn as much as you can, but be careful of what you link into. All I can say is the vast majority of contact is genuine, but it's the negative information, or maybe I should say disinformation, that mainly gets promoted. I'd suggest people check out the FREE organisation, that's FREE, which stands for Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters. It was started by a guy by the name of Raniero Hernandez, and its patron was the late Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man to walk on the moon. They've carried out a very comprehensive survey by people who've had ET encounters and have found the majority to be positive and genuine. They can be found at www.experiencer.org/.
Well, thanks, Judy. I'd just like to highlight here as we conclude this episode what you said about ET contact, and that is that the vast majority is genuine and positive, so that's good to know. It's the fear-mongering usually on the internet that can be a problem, a major problem with all the disinformation that's presented as fact. So try to be more informed and discriminating about what you're researching and linking into. So Judy, can you just repeat the organisation you mentioned and their website?
Yes, Paula, it's called FREE, FREE, which stands for Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters, and their website is experiencer.org/.
Well, thanks, Judy. Your books are available through Amazon and Kindle, or you can go directly through Judy's website, which is included in the link below. So if you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel. Thanks again, and we look forward to our next Q&A session. Bye for now.